Hi, and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing Attack on Titan. This is Season 3, Episode 20. So much has already happened in this season overall. Never mind just the latter half of the season. The people we've lost, they finally made their way to the fucking basement. And then we had a post-credit scene at the end of the last episode titled The Basement, where we went back in time to when Grisha was a young boy, and we got to see just a glimpse of where he lived or where he grew up. And things are different, like airships and like the technology, just the look of it, what they're wearing. It all of a sudden reminded us way more of like our own world. So what's about to happen? What sort of information is we about are we about to get in this episode? You are ready with pen and paper? Because you guys said that this is going to be a sort of a information overload sort of a thing.
So let's see if I can catch up.
Yes. So you can write some stuff down, and I'm just gonna try and stay laser focused. So what's going on the screen, and not avert my eyes or anything. And then we'll see if we can catch all the little details. And then, of course, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of stuff to talk about in the post discussion, post reaction discussion, the discussion, whatever you want to call it. Are you ready to jump into it?
Yes.
Yes, let's do it. And you can, of course, always check out our full length reactions where you can sync up the footage with your own copy of the episode. We also have early reactions for Attack on Titan at the moment, where we are several episodes ahead. It's all over on Patreon, and the link is down in the description below. And right now, on Patreon, we are most likely like well into season 4, if you want to check out those early reactions. But here we go. Yeah, okay, straight into it. Fucking cars and everything.
Damn.
この世の真実と向かい合った。
To face the truth of this world. What is the truth? What's gonna happen? And what? Okay, no intro again. That day. That was the title of the second episode overall, I think.
Okay, よ、食べネズミ。
Wow.
なんだ、悪魔の力。エルディア人め、こんなところをうろちょろと。
Aliens.
大丈夫だよ。もう慣れっこだろ。
Kind of like our world, but... Oh, an airship.
お前たちも飛行船を見に来たのか。
はい。
外出許可証を見せろ。
持ってません。
無許可で市内に入ったんだな。労働か制裁か。
制裁を。兄さん、僕が妹を無理やり連れ出しました。妹の分も僕に制裁をください。
わかった。
What the fuck?
腕章を外さなかったことは賢い。たとえガキでも腕章を外したエルディア人は楽園送りだからな。
They're paradise. As in, they're executed? What is he calling them? Did you write
Aliens. Eldians.
Eldians.
妹は翌日、川で発見された。
No, what?
私があの子を送ったのはレベリオの手前までだ。そもそもエルディア人の子供が許可もなく町をうろ
Oh
つく
my
のが悪い。
fucking god. I was afraid he was gonna do something when he walked off with the sister.
お前らの先祖が犯した過ちはしっかり教育しているんだろうな。
Since you...
私はこのマーレチャン局の男が嘘をついていることが分かった。
ご指導いただきありがとうございます。我が愚足には教育し直しておきますので。
私は父に、この男にめまいのするような憎しみを覚え。
それ以上に。
今から1820年前、我々の祖先ユミル・フリッツは大地の悪魔と契約し、巨人の力を手に入れる。
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
ヤミルは死後も9つの巨人に魂を分け、エルディア帝国を築いた。
土地や財産を奪い、他民族に無理やり子を産ませ、ユミルの民を増やした。その民族浄化が約1700年続いた。
Wow.
Holy.
かつての大国マーレは
さらには9つの巨人のうち7つを手駒に従え、80年前の巨人大戦に勝利したのだ。当時のエルディアの王はこのパラディ島に三重の壁を。
Okay, no, there is a place called Paradise.
そこへ逃げ込んだ。
娘を失った直後の父親にしては饒舌だった。ご主人様の言いつけを守り、危機として己の祖先を卑下する姿は犬さながらであった。
あの男は嘘をついてた。あの男がフェイを。
黙れ！言っただろう。我々の祖先は大罪人だ。優勢思想に走り民族浄化を。
俺もフェイもそんなことしてない。
お前はなんだ？そんなに父さんと母さんと楽園に行きたいのか？頼むから父さんと母さんをフェイと同じ目に合わせないでくれ。
間違っているのはどちらだろうか。私かこの世界か。
わかった。
おそらくは両方だろう。
We're like 5 minutes into this episode, and my mind is already.
私が己の道を見つけたのは18の時。何の考えもなく父の診療所を継ごうとしていた頃だった。
Okay.
あなたの妹はマーレ当局の男に殺された。我々にはマーレ政府の内通者がいます。
妹の事件の真相を知った時、心に誓った。本当の悪魔はどちらか教えてやる。
What the shit?
マーレ政府の内通者はフクロウと呼ばれ、見ろ、これが真実だ。我々の始祖ユミルは巨人の力に目覚め、人々を豊かにし、この大陸を発展させたんだ。
俺たちが教わった歴史は全てモーレに都合のいい方法。
しかしグリシャ、俺たちは選ばれし神の子、ユミルの民だ。
どうしよう、フクロウが人を使わしたぞ。
私はダイナ・フリッツと申します。王家の血を引く者です。
王家だけが持つ巨人の情報を復権派にもたらした。
The
そ
fuck?
れはまさしく勝利への活路だった。
王が壁の中に持ち去った始祖の巨人、これさえ手にすれば他の巨人全てを支配し、マーレを打ち滅ぼすことができる。
当時の王は巨人大戦時、大陸内の力の均衡を保つという役目を放棄し、辺境の島に都を移したのです。
王子諸君よ、マーレを打倒し、エルディアの誇りを取り戻すのだ。翌年、私たちは結婚し、男子を授かった。名はジーク。
Oh, what?
王家の血を引く子だ。きっとこの子は私たちを勝利に導い
The
てくれる。
Zeke is Aaron's half brother?
時代は移り、
聞け、エルディア人よ。
マーレ政府が我々ユミルの民から7つの巨人を継承する器としてマーレの戦士を募ったのだ。莫大な化石燃料を埋蔵するパラディ島は決して無視できるものではなくなった。
Everything we've seen so far has
壁の
been
王が
happening on
80
the
年前に
Paradise Island.
マーレ政府の目的は我々と同じ。壁内に侵入し、始祖の巨人を奪還することである。
このままじゃ
マーレに先を越されてしまう。いや、手段は残されている。我々の息子ジークをマーレの戦士にするのだ。
いいか、ジーク。
わかった。
That's a lot of pressure.
しかし私は知っていたはずだ。親が子を自らの思想に染め上げる罪深さを。何にせよ、ジークは自らと祖父祖母の安全を選んだ。愚かな良心をマーレ政府に差し出すことと引き換えに。
Oh. Okay. Race of devils.
ここが楽園。
And that's how he ended up there.
答えろ、フクロウは誰だ。それは残念だ。もう一本行こう。
Is that guy the owl? Who's the fucking owl?
なんでジークが俺たちを密告するんだ。お前の息子だろう。お前に全てを託したのが間違いだったんだ。復権派もダイナもなんとか言えよ。
すまない。
生きのいいのがいるな。下にまっすぐ走れ。運が良かったら壁までたどり着ける。
Holy fuck, they didn't even inject him.
まあすぐに食われるがな。そうだろ、クルーガー。
こいつ間違いない。妹を殺した当局の男。
Please eat him.
Fuck this guy. Come on, Grisha.
Hey, Santa Claus.
Yeah, that
The one who ate.
Aaron, or yeah, Aaron back then. Yeah, that one.
クルーガー、うるさくてかなわんぞ。
こいつにはまだ尋問したいことがある。
お、次は女か。もったいねえ、悪魔の血じゃなきゃな。
Oh shit.
彼女は王か。黙れ。まさかこいつがもみ
Yeah, maybe. I think that's the owl.
どんな姿になってもあなたを探し出すから。
Oh.
Okay.
What's up, Aaron?
私はなぜ
Oh.
エレン、落ち着いて。
Who
That's
am
so-
I?
ここは懲罰室で怖い夢でも見たの。エレン。
Oh, that hair.
Mhm.
なんかすっげえ長い夢を見ていた気がするんだけど。
Yeah, no shit.
いや夢じゃねえ。記憶だ。
Yep.
あの巨人お前だったんだな。大変。
It's the one who ate Aaron's mom and fucking Hanse. This guy is a major asshole.
尋問はもう済んだろ。今回はそいつに踊ってもらうぞ。3、4メートルくらいの巨人に調整するからこいつと戦ってくれ。
You what?
こんなことするんだ。
平和ってのは大変結構なことだが、何か物足りんのだろうな。自分が死ぬのは今日かもしれんと感じて生きる。俺はその日を受け入れる心構えがある。
Are you though?
なぜならこうやってお前の妹を息子たちの犬に食わせたのも教育だ。
What the fuck, this guy?
痛まないのか
Yeah.
かわいそうに。エルディア人でさえなければな。人殺しはそっちだろ。お前ら復権派は俺たちマーレに何をしようとした。心は痛まなかったのか。
始祖ユミルは大陸の人々を豊かに。
なあ、わかったよ。やめろ。だから妹が呼んでるぞ。
Yep.
Fuck yes. Nice one. I was kind of waiting for that to happen. Still very happy about it.
See how you feel about your own little philosophy now, huh?
Yeah, are you ready to just embrace death?
俺がフクロウだ。覚えておけよグリシャ。巨人の力はこうやって使う。
Oh, what sort of a titan is he?
He looks a lot like.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, we need more. Oh man, what the hell? There's so much information. I even like said Hannah's name wrong at one point. It was like, oh, that's the Titan who ate Aaron's mom and Hansi or whatever I said. I was just so surprised by everything. But that was episode 20, Information Overload. You wrote down a thing or two at least.
Yeah, but I feel like I didn't have to because I actually think they explained everything.
Well, yeah, they certainly like explained everything. It was just the amount of things and names and words and history that they threw at us that could maybe be a little bit confusing. So I'm at least glad that you wrote down a couple of things because that might make it easier to talk about it. But it's a cruel, cruel fucking world, and it's always been cruel. It seems like, or it's at least it's been like that for a long while, and just the history that they told us inside of this one, it's all new information, but it's almost seems like it's kind of like some of the same stuff has been going on for centuries.
Yeah, we got the whole almost like a genesis of sorts of this world told in this one. So we had Ymir, who was like a titan, and had the founding titan's power, right? Like, or she was the founding titan.
Yeah.
And something about 9 powers, or like it was split. She was split into 9. Oh, I didn't get that part, because that was the one that went quite fast for me, because he spoke so fast, and it was just like so much information like this.
Yeah, and a lot of, because we don't speak Japanese, and then with the subtitles sometimes during this episode, the some of the subtitles was the voiceover, and then there was other subtitles going on at the same time that was people talking in the background that you necessarily couldn't even hear, but it was just maybe a little bit difficult to like, okay, so what subtitles am I supposed to look at here?
But this particular, when he was talking, that was just one subtitle.
Okay, he just talked fast.
He talked really fast, and if you have to keep, and this was done on purpose. That was when he was telling Grisha about everything.
Yeah, his dad there.
Yeah.
And
he spoke fast.
And it came out of nowhere as well. It wasn't get ready for a big history lesson or a big explanation. It just started.
Yeah, so that was the only part I was a little bit, it went too fast for me with Ymir, and like the whole, something about being split into 9, whatever that was.
Definitely like 9 titans.
Yes, but she was the founding titan, and she wanted people on the continent to prosper. And she was also, the way I understood it, was like the ancestor of all the Eldians as well. And that the
people of Mali.
And then we have the people of Mali. The thing with Ymir and Ymir's people, they did eugenics. So, and eugenics is never a good thing. So they basically just eradicated people that was not Eldians. Is basically what it means, to try and purify the bloodline, so you only have like Eldians.
Yes, they sort of forced the other races to mate with them so that the offspring would be Eldians as well, and then in that way the eugenics thing, at least that's what they said.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, so they just wanted to carry on the bloodline of the Eldians. And they then, eugenics is also like killing off people that are not the same, like the race that you like to. So either like outbreeding that line of, or that species, whatever, or just just getting rid of them. Some people who are who were very happy for or at least used eugenics a lot is, at least what we know of, and very known example, the Nazis. So they basically wanted to
purify the bloodlines,
purify the Aryan line of people, or the Aryan race. Because they saw them as superior. And that meant that everybody who was not of Aryan, at least just like the looks of them, they were
lesser races,
and they basically wanted to eradicate them. The same went for disabled people and homosexuals, and like all sorts of like out of the normal, you can say it like that. So, not a good thing.
Any variations from the Aryan race, that was deemed.
And if you know just a little bit about genetics, that's not how you do good genetics. You don't purify a bloodline necessarily, because you can end up purifying bad stuff, and if you mix genes instead, bad stuff, like
no, bad. I thought you said bat as in a bat.
No.
I was like
bad genes and stuff. But if you mix, then there's a bigger you get more genetic variation, and more genetic variation is helping succeeding the
it's a good thing overall.
Yeah, definitely, because for a lot of reasons. That's also inbreeding is not good as well. So it was just like eugenics is a horrible thing. So I definitely get why the Malians, is that what they're called? I definitely get why they are angry at the Eldians and want to punish them. But the way that we then saw that guy, Kruger, I think he was called, he hated Eldians so much that he felt completely indifferent to seeing them getting killed by like in absolutely horrible ways.
Yes, he was. They were kind of doing what was done to them earlier in history and trying to get rid of a certain bloodline and treating them as less than themselves, a lesser race, and very much with that sergeant major guy there, that he didn't feel any sort of remorse because they are just these evil beings, this demon race almost.
And that's so to that Kruger guy, he also said that all Eldians now, even though they might not feel the same way as Eldians back then, they still had to atone the sins of their ancestors.
Yeah.
And this is so horrible because I can see both points. Like you want to, if you've done something, or someone of your race has done something absolutely horrible and despicable, but you're not like that, and you're trying your best not to be like that. You're trying to do your best to just exist and have a nice life and all that. But then these people that your ancestors have wronged, they're continuously treating you bad because you're doing, like, your ancestors did something horrible. It just
goes on and on and on in a circle where it's like, well, I was treated badly by your ancestors, so I'm gonna treat you badly, and then further down the line and vice versa, and it just and it's definitely something that we've talked about before, with the possibility of like what was in the past and what has been going on, that it probably has been going on for so long that no one is alive necessarily today who like started during the starting with treating the other people badly. Like it's just, they are all just constantly paying for the mistakes of their ancestors.
Yeah. So, and I think because of this circle of just horribleness, we also learned that there was a royal bloodline, right? And they went to their paradise. That was this island. And we saw from the Great Titan War, or like the clips from the Great Titan War, that all of these royals or these titans, they were the ones forming the gates, or like the walls. So we actually saw who it was, and
yes, how that started, and now we know that everything we've seen up until this point has been going on this island, that they have all just been sent to, or at least, they went there at first, and then later on they just sent other Eldians to that paradise. And we've heard this talk of paradise before from the Rice family, and they just wanted to build this paradise for people, and it's just that makes more sense now.
Absolutely.
Definitely. But it still seems like, yes, we got the history sort of explained to us by Grisha's father, but then later on getting into that resistance movement there that Grisha did, and talking about history in a way that, no, that's not exactly what happened. Our ancestor Ymir only wanted to do good for everyone, and it's the people of Mali who has, you know, been telling us the wrong version of history. And that certainly, yeah, it sounds familiar from what we've had on the Paradise Island inside the walls. So
yeah, but it does ring kind of hollow, those words, because if you are the one, like if it's your race, of course you can say, well, my ancestors just wanted peace and prosperity, and they want everyone to they only wanted good things and everything.
Then why did other people rise up against Ymir if Ymir only wanted to do good?
Yeah, and it's just, you know, it's just very biased in a way, and they're only taking the one side, like, so they're trying to, you know, be righteous about it, and we don't know what happens, so we don't know who's in the right or whatever. So it's just, yeah, it's just hard, but like that's also through our history, as in our world, we've also gone through similar things, and we're probably gonna go through it until the end of humanity.
Yeah.
So
history is always written by the victor, and of course it is sort of different now, I would say, with like the availability of information in general and the World Wide Web, but that also creates a heck of a lot of misinformation out there that's just as easy to spread as what is factually true. And what does it even mean that something is factually true, according to whom and what? And it's history in general. It can be difficult to wrap your head around. And this episode was, just a lot of information and a lot of history. We then also got, the whole Sikh thing with Grisha having a son with this, what her name was, Dina, right? Dina, yeah, who was of this royal blood. And Dina even turned into the fucking Titan who will later on eat Aaron's mom, Grisha's new wife, and also Hannes, and it's just, the connections there are fucking insane. And the way that, and he saw that himself, he wrote that down in the book, that the way that he sort of treated his son Sikh and indoctrinated him in a way was the same way that, you know, he felt wrong by his own dad growing up, and how his dad was so adamant about telling the story in the way that the Mali people wanted. But Sikh betrayed Grisha and sided with his grandparents, they said, or something. So, or at least
no, he wanted to protect them.
He wanted to protect them, or
to protect them, he had to give up his father.
Yes, and that was not part of the plan, because he was supposed to sort of infiltrate some of these Mali people so that he could be on the inside but still be loyal to Grisha, and that definitely backfired. And then what happens to Sikh after that, other than, you know, where we know where he ends up, like as a fucking war chief. But yeah, do you have a theory?
Yeah, because the people from, like, where we know that Sikh is all of it, like his minions and everything, they have talked about evil race. They have talked about how they should just end everyone inside the walls because they were of this evil race. And that makes sense now, because even though Sikh was kind of taught that Eldians were the good ones and all of this, he still has like Malian views on the Eldians. That suddenly makes sense that he, of course, see the Eldians as bad people. And if Eldians founded and created this island, this paradise, then and he only sees it as Eldians.
He resents them so much, and he resents his own father for lying to him, and what he said to Eren with like, we have more in common than you think. And yeah, that scene makes a lot more sense now as well.
Sense, yeah. And also, and now we know where the Titans come. Oh well, we don't know where like it all came from, right?
No, like the real origin of it. It originated with these Eldians and Ymir, who was sort of like, I don't know, like a god-like being to the Eldians, and then there was 9 Titans, and then the Mali people, they gained control over 7 out of the 9 of these very powerful Titans. So at least the founding Titan, that power, which was most likely the Ymir Titan power or something like that, went to this Paradise Island. So there's another, that must be the coordinate. So it must be the founding and the coordinate. Or maybe the coordinate is the Ymir power and the founding is... Either way, it seems like those 2 very powerful Titan powers went to that island. So the other 7 are under control of the Malis still.
At least 6 of them. So yeah, the founding Titan power, whatever, that was the Rice family, you know that. But now we also know why there are Titans around the island, because all of the defectors, the people who are defecting or traitors, whatever, they have been just unleashed, been turned into Titan and then unleashed with the intent of going to... Also, they... okay, so they actually went there with boats, right?
Yeah. They sailed to the island to inject them there, throw them over the wall, and then they can just roam the island.
Exactly. I didn't get that they were actually sailing there, so I was a little confused. But yeah, it makes sense now. And then, so that now we know where at least the roaming Titans are coming from. But then we also had the whole the owl thing, like the guy who was infiltrating.
Yeah, truly undercover in the ranks there with the Mali people and the police. And it's very much seems like he, at the moment when that happened, and you know, he caught himself and said to Grisha, this is how you're going to turn into a Titan going forward. And it then seems to me that because he said that to Grisha, and we saw his Titan form, that he's gonna have Grisha eat him, because like that power has to end with Grisha, because you know, Eren gets it, and he only gets it because he eats Grisha.
Yeah.
So Grisha has to eat the owl.
Yeah.
It's what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I just recalled that, of course, if they don't know who the owl was, then they haven't gotten the 8th Titan power, or the 8th Titan.
The Malis.
Yeah, because he was undercover all this time. So he's like the 8th one, and then Rice was the 9th, or the one who's like...
Yeah, the founding thing. Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up, that it just occurred to me. It was a bit confusing with all this information, I give you that, but yeah. Okay, so far so good. Yeah.
And we might then continue with this story in the next episode, I think, and it might be like that's the remainder of season 3 is going to be telling the rest of this story leading up to the present day events. Perhaps there's still fully expect for there to be more mysteries that they can unravel later on, and there's still going to be a lot of information that we won't get, but at least now they have really opened up here, and they are giving us a lot. It seems like you thought of something.
Just because we know 2 people now who's called Ymir.
Yeah, what's the significance there? Why is Ymir named after, or why? Yeah,
I'm...
And now the whole people of Ymir has more than just that one meaning, because we had that flashback scene with Ymir, who was being worshipped.
Yeah, but did she have like the blood of the king or the blood of?
That's
something?
what they said, at least, because they just needed someone in that position to worship. But
yeah, of course.
I don't know if she actually has that royal blood.
No, but it makes sense now with the royal bloodline, because the royal it's from one of the Titans. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's just been the Ice family doing their thing on Paradise Island and manipulating history in the way that they did. They also have that power, the whole mind wipe power that they can use on people. So just wanting people to believe that they have to stay there inside of the walls and don't want to make them aware of the rest of this horrible history. And then I can also understand why the Ice family was like, well, we can't go back to the real world because they just want to kill us, all of us. So we have to make a paradise here. And what's that going to look like? And how can we do it in a way where people won't get curious and want to go back to the mainland?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes a lot more sense now.
A lot of things does all of a sudden. It is starting to make a lot more sense. And it's just... it's a lot, but it's also, it's not that... Well, yes, it comes sort of out of nowhere, but it still doesn't. Like, it makes sense in relation to information more, like, that we've gotten up until this point.
But also the paradise, it has only existed for 100 years. So that kind of makes sense in a way that if we think about what state they're in, if they leave the world as it was, let's say it looked a lot like, I don't know, 1700s, 1800s, something like that, perhaps, like prior to the 1900s something. Then that's why they've, first off, are not very advanced technology wise, but also the way that every like the buildings look olderish. So they have like all of these, I don't know what they're called, but like with the black and the white and very classical mid-European centric European looking with the houses and everything. So that also makes sense, because if the royal lines or whatever went to make the paradise 100 years or more before that, then of course it would look like something that was from 100 years before where they were at, or where they are at now.
But yeah, it seems like the amount of information here is getting to us a little bit. So we're gonna let it marinate. I know you love that word. And then we might have a thing or two to like some more revelations next time we watch an episode. But do you have anything else you want to add here at the end?
Just a little thing.
Yes.
There was this whole thing when they were at the wall and the two guys were injecting people. Koga, I think it was called. He talked about like life and death and a little bit of like, yeah, it was he was talking about some stuff about death, life and death, and yeah, some philosophy around that. And I just thought it was a very interesting point of view, and this whole notion of like live your day to like it's your last day. And yeah, I just thought that was I've heard it before, but as someone who was really religious once, I ended up being very atheist, and not in a way that I'm against anyone else's religion. I'm perfectly fine with that. But one of the things that I've just thought a lot about as an atheist, because atheists don't believe in in life after death. So for atheists, there are no like
there's
there's
no reward or no punishment.
no,
at
it's
the
just
end.
like it's just ending.
Mm.
So if you only have this life, this one life, and you only like you when it's done, then you should live every day as it's your last day.
Make it count.
And make it count. Yeah,
YOLO.
exactly. Because, well, you never know when you're gonna die, and yeah, it might be tomorrow. So why not? Why have lived an unhappy and unfulfilling life up until this point? Because you're just waiting, or because you're just enduring. Perhaps is a better word.
Or doing things a certain way because you think that there might be a, as I said, reward or punishment waiting for you at the end of your life.
Yeah, like and just because one is an atheist and has like well, I want to live every day to its fullest, it doesn't mean that atheists don't have morals. Just to make it clear. But yeah, there's a lot of philosophy around that, and I just thought it was an interesting conversation they had there, or at least a one-sided conversation.
Yeah, that was more of a monologue.
Yeah. But it was kind of nice to see that he definitely got
his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he full on deserved that. He seemed like a horrible human being. But the way I also sort of interpreted what he said, his monologue there, was that he was kind of speaking to or talking about that humans, they need this strife, they need to struggle, they need death and all this horrible, like they needed to sort of motivate them to live their life to the fullest. Humans, they don't function when there's just peace and we don't have this stuff going on. At least that's how I also interpreted what he said, that was his excuse for accepting the way, or accepting that the world is as it is. Like there's always going to be suffering, and we almost can't function as humans without all of this.
Yeah, and that's kind of horrible, right? Because it's like, yeah, we will always have this fight. We always have to have a situation where we're fighting someone, because that kind of puts a threat to our lives. So we have to live lives to its fullest. And it's
but that should just be mortality in and of itself, because we don't live forever. So like there is an expiration date, so to say. So there's always that in the horizon. I just don't necessarily agree with him that we also, on top of that, need for life to be horrible for some people, or that we can't just have this life of peace and leisure, that it has to be, or leisure, sorry, that it has, life has to be hard. I don't necessarily buy that.
No, and also he used it as an excuse to do violence and murder.
Exactly,
because that's what I meant. It's like we constantly have to combat each other, right? So that's what he basically wanted to say. Like we have to have this sort of suffering, and
exactly,
we have to have butt heads all the time. And
just excusing, as you're saying, like him being horrible with, oh, that's just how humans are. That's how humans function. And I've at least heard those arguments before, that it's just so in us, it's an innate thing in us that we want to see suffering, we want to do all this horrible, like it's just, those are definitely, it's in us, but we also have the capacity to go against that and fight it, and fight those very base instincts, because we are very intelligent beings, the only ones with this level of intellect on this planet, at least. So like we should be capable of rising above all of that shit.
We're civilized, and like I also think it's such a huge discredit to humans that you're saying, well,
we can't learn, we can't grow.
We have these innate behaviors, we have all of these instincts, and we can't rise above that. And it's just like I just feel like it's just a slap in the face
Yeah,
because there's so many of us who are not violent and who don't want violence, who want peace and prosperity and same like equity for all. And it's just it's just a horrible
there's a lot of people
argument.
with the sort of view on life that, or in the world, that okay, we should all just, like, we shouldn't do anything to improve like the world or the life of other human beings, because everything is horrible anyway, and we can never evolve as a species, so we're just doomed, and that's just the way it is. So just lean back, grab a big fucking wad of popcorn, and just watch the world burn. And it's like, no, we can do better than that. We should strive to do better than that, at least. I'm not saying that we can, as a species, achieve just peace across all borders and lives.
Work towards it.
But we can strive towards it. It all of a sudden became very, just but not necessarily just only related to Attack on Titan, but it gets us thinking in those lanes.
Yeah, and it's also a testament to story writing, right? To proper story. Well, at least even though this is a very fictional world, we still relate to it, and I also think that's why it's such a popular series, because there's so many themes and all of this.
Yeah.
We always talk about like humanity, and like it's just a long story about humanity and how we all fucking doomed.
Yeah, even if we have Titan powers or not, like how different the world is compared to what the real world. Like humans still behave the same way, very evident in the way that these Mali people, they treated the Eldians, and we made this comparison last time around because we thought we were sort of getting into a Nazi Germany 1940s, the way that they treated the Jews, and it is actually also in that vein. Like, they blamed the Eldians for something, or for their lives not being what they wanted it to be, and now they need to be punished, and we need to eradicate this filthy race. And that, unfortunately, still sounds familiar to what has been going on in our own history.
Yeah.
So there is still that.
Humans are gonna human.
Humans are gonna human, but we should still strive to be better, is what we're also saying.
Yes, and it's just this story is so bleak because it's just basically just once again just a testament to how just humans will always fight other humans, and that's horrible.
Yeah.
And we can't seem to get better ever.
But we should still strive towards it.
Yeah, but I'm just like, that's some of the main themes in this one.
Oh yeah. It is very realistic, I guess, in that way.
Yeah, and now I'm just very interested in seeing, like, now we know a little bit more about, like, at least where Zeke is coming from, and we know about this world and everything, and I'm just interested in seeing with what Eren has to say to all of this, because he's just being notified of all of this, right? So he's like
in his dreams / memories.
Is he gonna be like, hey, this Zeke guy might have an
have some answers?
No, or at least like I'm interested in seeing if he's gonna continue on with this, like, against Zeke, and or like the people inside the walls. Are they going to continue fighting for themselves? Well, of course they are, but will they ever find some sort of like
middle ground?
Yeah. And what about Eren, right? Because he's one of the most important people. He has the coordinate and all of that. So is he going to try and revenge his father, or is he going to? That's.
Yeah. And how did Zeke end up in the position that he is in when he is from Eldian descent, origin, or he's got that blood in him? Then why is he seemingly the war chief for the Mali people, or did they start doing their own thing, or how much of like the rest of the world, what does it look like now in present time? Because we got flashbacks here. it's still very close to at least when Grisha ended up outside of the walls. Oh yeah, as I said, now that must be like 10-15 minutes ago when I was about to wrap up, that we're gonna let all this fucking marinate, and we might have some more revelations next time, but at least for now, that was a crazy amount of information, and we're gonna keep thinking about it, hopefully get some more information, and it's just gonna keep going like that, but we are very excited to continue, of course. Now, I think that's gonna do it for this reaction and review of Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 20. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.